say to yourself about that? I'm trying to wrap my head around how Brian would drive across the country, having left with your daughter and returning without her and not saying anything about it. What do you say to yourself about that?
It's not even his van. I mean, I can say a lot of things that aren't appropriate for TV. Like I said before, I'm a protective dad, and I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions.
Well, let's talk about those questions because they need to be asked, and maybe somebody will know something about it. But he leaves and drives home without her. What do you say to yourself about that?
First of all, you came home without. Then you had the van for 10 days in your driveway. So now I got what happened with the van? Did you clean it? Did your parents help you clean it? Did they help cover up the crime? After the fact, I want to know. Like I got these questions. Like you stole a car over across how many states? Can you be arrested for that? Like I got a lot of questions. Until I get my daughter back, I don't give a damn about the questions. I got to get my baby girl back.
Well, but that may lead to getting her back and finding out where she was. He drove across the country for how many days without telling you she was missing? 7?
Well, I guess he was home on the first, right? So it takes at minimum from Wyoming, it's a 2-day drive.
But you last heard from her on August 27th, and he arrives home on the 1st, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 7 days between when you last heard from her and when he arrives home without her.
Well, there was another text message to her mom on the 30th.
But she doesn't believe that was from Gabby. What did the text say?
No reception in Yosemite. And we thought it was actually like a autocorrect where she meant Yellowstone.
So there's this text message that just says no service in Yosemite. What were the last words that you spoke to your daughter?
We were working on her website. She was telling me about the trip, where she was going, and all this other stuff. She said, "Listen, I'm going to have some bad reception, in certain spots, so I'll call you when I can. I'll let mom know I'm going to be calling her." All right, cool. And then we were working on her website and trying to. She had some problems uh, making the email address work, for nomadic static that she was doing. So I'm not a techie guy, but I sat down at my computer and we YouTubed it and we figured it out together. I sent her some food through my Domino's app, and we were just laughing, having a good time. Trying to make it work. It was frustrating off the start when we couldn't get the email to work, but we got it.
Okay, and that was when?
That was on the 21st of August.
All right.
Listen, me and Gabby talk once, twice a week. Her mom speaks to her 2, 3 times a week. My son talks to her, a couple times a week. So it's always someone talking to her, and you're like, oh no, I haven't, and you don't think anything, you just travel in the country. But then it started to become weeks. Now it's 10, now we got a problem. You know what I mean? Now you're 10 days, I mean? We got a problem, and that's when it was it.
During that time, he never called you. He never said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm home with your daughter's van, but not your daughter. She's out there in America somewhere. I just left. She went off with some people, or she's in a hotel." Nothing. No, nothing. Zero.
No, nothing. No. Gabby's mom first talked to him, last talked to her physically on the 25th.
Right.
On the 30th, she hears, she gets a text message that there's not a lot of service in Yosemite. You can think it's an autocorrect or whatever. You don't think anything of it, but then come the first, the second, third, the fourth, the fifth, you're not hearing from her. All right, because you're camping, there's not a lot of service. I'll hear from her in a couple days, and then you let two days more go by. Now you start calling people and stuff like that. You're like, all right, maybe whatever. And then we started. We tried on the 10th to do. Like I said, the missing person. We finally got it in on the 11th. You know what I mean? So it just became too much.
Did you call Brian during or at the end of this 10 days?
We called Brian. We called the mom. We called the dad. We called the sister. We called every number we could find, and we got no phone calls were picked up. No text messages were returned. So we texted them. Have you seen our kids? We haven't heard from them in a while. We're we're getting really nervous, and we're about to call the police. And you think when someone says they're about to call the police to find your missing kid, you would return a phone call? I mean, that's just what logic would dictate for normal people, and you don't get any response? I mean, that just makes it more and more concerning, doesn't it?
So mom, dad, sister, Brian, nobody took your call.
No one.
Okay, well, let me do a hypothetical here and flip the table. If this was the other way around and you had a son that went off with somebody's daughter and came back without her, and the family called you, wouldn't you pick up the phone and answer it and tell them everything you knew to help explain the situation?
All right, so let's expand on that a little bit more, right? So my son comes home without his companion, who lives in my house. Remember, Gabby lived there.
Right.
So if he's back at so my son's back at my house without the person who lives in my house, and once he gives me an explanation, I'm on the phone with the parent saying, we got a problem. Because I'm a good person. We got a problem, and we got to handle it quick. And whatever the problem is, however the scenario is, I teach my son and my youngest son and Gabby to stand up for your mistakes. All right, if you do something wrong, you apologize and you take what's coming, because that's what decent people do. Obviously, they skip that role in parenting.
Would you have expected him to call you if he was leaving Utah or wherever without her and say, sir, she won't get back in the van, she won't come home, I'm leaving, I'm coming home, do you want to come out here? Would you expected him to say, I'm leaving and coming home without your daughter? Would you have expected him to call you if he was leaving Utah or wherever without her and say, sir, she won't get back in the van, she won't come home, I'm leaving, I'm coming home, do you want to come out here?
The problem with that is that van was Gabby's. So he can leave that van right there. I'm jumping on a plane, tell me where she's at, and I'll be there in a few hours. If I got to get a private plane to get there, I will do that right this second. I don't care what it takes. So he better walk his little behind over to somewhere else and figure out how he's going to get home to his parents. Because that van is in her name, not the other way around.
So if he comes home, he shouldn't have brought her van home, is what you're saying. He leaves that with her.
Gabby's 5'3", maybe 110 pounds. You think it's okay to leave a young 22-year-old person in the middle of nowhere?
Right. So how much money do you think she had?
She had money, but not enough money to spend a month's time in a hotel with food and stuff like that.
Now, this van is hers, so not his, so you could go pick that van up. Why has that not happened?
It's in police impound, and I'm letting them, they have the van, they're processing it. There's so much information, Dr. Phil. I'm overwhelmed with how far this story has gone in terms of the world. I mean, it's across the globe. It's wild. And I am so humbled. Can I just say something to you?
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you, again, because you're taking the time to push this story out there and essentially save my life. So I can never repay you for that. But if I ever meet you in person, man, I would like to shake your hand and say thank you so much, because I can't thank you enough.
Well,
and that's just just a fact.
Well, I hope we meet when we're celebrating finding her and solving this puzzle.
We'll bring her home. We're bringing her home, and she's gonna be home safe. That's what I got to go with in my head.
Well,
Until I'm told otherwise, I'm gonna be on the floor crying. So
I understand, and as a father, I'm praying with you and praying that we find her and she's got some explanation for this. Now, at this point, you don't get the van, and you don't pick up the van. The FBI has it now. He doesn't pick up the phone. His family doesn't pick up the phone. But when he does pick up the phone, he picks it up to hire an attorney. How quickly did he do that?
I don't know how fast he did. And that's some of the questions that I have. Like, when did you get an attorney? Did your parents aid in abet you in a crime? All this other stuff.
What was your reaction when you heard he was refusing to speak to the police?
I screamed. My wife couldn't even console me. Like, I thought the worst. That's my baby. I was 20 years old when Gabby was born. She saved my life. I was going the wrong way in life. Maybe the person I am today. So I broke down. I was crying, screaming. And then I compose myself and I got to get her home because he's not helping. I'm not allowed to contact him. I'm not allowed to be anywhere, whatever, go anywhere near him. And if I did, all it's going to do is stop me from the primary focus of finding Gabby. So I'm doing what I know best. Bring my daughter home. That's all I can do right now.
The FBI now looking for Brian Laundrie. His lawyer tells us his location is unknown.
Dozens of people lining up outside his house, demanding answers on Gabby Petito's disappearance.
Where is Gabby?
Where is she?
Officers going inside, speaking with family.
You know where Gabby is?
Tell us anything.
Evidence bags taken inside the home.
Bring Gabby home.
Gabby's parents praying she's found.
I just want to take my daughter and save her and hug her and protect her.
As the country demands to know where she is.
Well, he hasn't spoken to you. He hasn't spoken to the police. He hired an attorney, and his attorney released this statement. The attorney said, "This is understandably an extremely difficult time for both the Petito and Laundrie family. It is our understanding that a search has been organized for Ms. Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Ms. Petito is successful and that Ms. Petito is reunited with her family. On the advice of counsel, the Landry family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment."
You want me to break that down one by one for you?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to start with the opening line. All right. It's really hard on the Laundrie family and the Petito family.
Къде ги търсиш тия телефони?
My child is nowhere to be found, and I'm not getting
Имаш
any answers
регистрация
on
там,
where
или?
to start. So don't sit there and tell me on how difficult it is for you because you got reporters on your block.
Сега след няколко месеца, айде да прогледим една станция.
My heart bleeds for you.
Walkie-talkie, само една имам.
Then there was, I want the search to be successful.
Станция,
Well, I
радиостанция.
don't know about you, but when I want something to be
20
successful,
лева
I will
давам за
partake
нея.
in help
0
to
чета
make
кола.
sure it's successful.
Не съм я ползвал.
Not sit in the
И сега само един
background.
път ще я ползвам на корен.
If you love this person and she's your fiance, then you should
Докарай
turn
я
around
слушай,
and,
почти продавам.
I don't know,
Huh?
lead the darn
Докарай
charge.
я слушай, почти
Like I should
продавам.
be number 2, you should be
Ама
number 1.
като се върнем от корен, е сега на 8 до 16 сме на корен и ще я взимам. Аз даже не съм я зареждал, не съм я не съм я отварял от кутията. И трябва да отворя да я заредя, защото като отидем там, като имаме бойни стрелби, трябва да съм със станцията. Тя имала, разправя колегите и слушалка, всичко си купя, в ушите се слага една слушалка да и
through that interview that she hasn't talked to her brother and she wishes she could help and they're not talking to her from what I understand.
да могат като дават заповеди да ни викат, да ни кракат по-лесно да
I
чуваме.
jumped to conclusion and that is wrong of me and it
Ще я ползвам само един път и сега.
and pressure them into
И като свършвам корена,
print out a map, draw a circle and put
към
it
20
into
като
an
дойда.
airplane and throw it in the front yard.
Другия
I don't
месец,
care. You don't have to say a thing. Just tell me where to start.
Тя и
We'll start.
зарядно
I
всичко
mean,
има
you're
в
going from
кутийката,
Wyoming
не съм я
to
отварял.
Florida. That's a lot of ground.
Well, she spoke out and says she loves Gabby. What's your reaction?
I don't doubt it. Gabby's a lovable person. She's an amazing girl. How could you not love her? She might just be as frustrated as we are. I don't know. And I passed judgment, and that was wrong of me. So Cassie Laundrie, I apologize.
Well, you said in an open plea to Brian's parents, in an open letter, you said, quote, "We believe you know the location where Brian left Gabby. We beg you to tell us. Gabby lived with you for over a year. She was going to be your daughter-in-law. How can you keep her location hidden? Please, if you or your family have any decency left, please tell us where Gabby is located. Tell us if we are even looking in the right place."
Yeah.
So you believe that Brian has at least confided in the family where he last saw her, where he left her, on the off chance that Gabby is somewhere in a shelter, in some situation, circumstance where she is watching this. What do you want to say to her?
Gabby, let me come get you. I will bring you to my home, and I will shelter you from all this crap until you're able to handle it. Until you're ready. I don't care about anything else than my daughter's well-being. I got big shoulders. I can handle it. All right. When you're ready, we'll have you come out. Until then, we will protect you. Don't worry.
Well, that's a good message for her. Can we add your wife? Hi, Tara. Good to meet you. Sorry for the circumstance. Thank you for talking to us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Well, I'm sharing with Joe objective number one, and that's to find Gabby and get her home.
Yes.
And I guess my second objective is to inspire the Laundry family to break their silence and join this effort to bring her home. And people who have nothing to hide nothing. This is not a good look. There's no way this is going to turn out well by being silent. It just isn't.
We're just trying to stay hopeful and persistent to see if, get her name out there, get her pictures out there. I know it is getting out there to help bring her home.
I have never seen such strength, I've never seen such courage, and I've never seen such focus as you guys are bringing to this. And I can tell you that if you will keep the heat on here, two things can happen. It will keep people's focus on this situation. We're going to put a big bright light on it. And hopefully you can inspire his family to come forward and give you information. There is absolutely no way in hell that he doesn't know more than you know.
Please.
We're begging.
I'm begging.
We're begging. Parent, just tell us something, just so we're heading in the right direction to find her.
Well, that's the thing. And look, lawyers have clients, and they have this client. Your daughter's not a client. This is not a case. This is your precious daughter, and you need the information. And damn it, do the right thing. Step up and give every piece of information you know to help find this precious young woman, whatever the circumstance is. You have a moral imperative to do that.
Man, I couldn't have said it better, Dr. Phil. I thank you very much. I appreciate everything you're doing, man. I can't thank you enough. Please, just keep it up as long as you can, as much as you can. That's all I can ask.
Well, we're going to do that. Let's find her and get her home.
Thank you very much. Please.
This is not Dr. Phil to Joe. This is Dad to Dad. Let's find her and get her home.
That's all I need first.
That's what we need. That's number one.
Goal one. That is it.
Missing van life girl Gabby Petito.
Hello, and good morning.
I think she's in trouble. I think she's hurt. She can't survive on her own. She doesn't have those skills.
Do you have a theory about where she is?
If I use my gut feeling, I'm gonna be on the floor crying.
New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.
Around 9:45 when the FBI agents, they rolled up here in their unmarked SUVs, different vehicles with their lights on. They got out of their vehicles very quickly and they flooded the home here in Northport. A couple minutes after that, around 10 o'clock, was when we saw the FBI agents escort Brian Laundrie's parents outside the front door. They were in that unmarked minivan that's parked out front for about 5 minutes, and then it was very quickly that they were escorted back inside the home. And all eyes were on the parents, but ever since that activity and ever since we saw a bulk of the agents go inside, there hasn't been much going on. So everyone here is keeping a very close eye, not just on the house, but the entire property, waiting to see what comes out of it and waiting for some much needed answers.
Yeah, you know, I've been walking around since I've been here, probably for the past 45 minutes, talking to different neighbors that I see out here. Because right now, you guys are looking at this home that's guarded by law enforcement, but what you can't see is all the media lining the road. You know, probably more than 40 media outlets out here, and then you have the neighbors that are sitting on their lawn chairs just watching the scene grow bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, I talked to the next door neighbor of the laundry home, and he was telling me he was out here just cutting his grass this morning, and all of a sudden he saw, you know, all the FBI agents swarm the house. You know, we actually talked to him, Erica talked to him last week when he was saying, you know, oh, I knew this girl, Gabby Petito. I saw her working on her van with her fiance, Brian, but never thought anything of it. And then all of a sudden he saw the van get towed Saturday night when her family reported her missing. And so I talked to him today just to catch up. You know, he's watching this all unfold right next to his home. He said it's a very bizarre scene. His wife is pretty freaked out about the whole thing.
Ехай то сайт
He's just trying
същия
to remain calm.
за 18 лева го взех, тук е 21,80 руския лев. Ей то. Същия го имам. Тук 21,80, показва 18 го взех.
Нормално е. Има разлика там. 2-3 лева. Нормално.
И то колко? 3-4 лева пък доставка
Да.
ми удариха. Зависи от сайта сигурно. Същия лев. Екранирането също.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I was talking. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Or excuse me, about 18 hours after we learned that remains were found matching the description of Gabby Petito. Everyone knows who she is. This case has been gripping the nation and definitely been difficult to grasp for everyone here in the tight-knit Northport community.
Yeah, you know, as you can imagine, there's a little bit of frustration, a little bit of uneasiness, because you look outside your door and you see all these FBI agents swarming your neighbor's house. You see media just lining the street. You know, they can't go in, they can't really leave. I know we spoke with him last week when all this first started happening, and he was kind of like, yeah, you know, I saw Gabby and Brian working on their van before they even left on their trip. But when I spoke with him today, it was just very, you know, somber. He was like, I can't believe that this is what's happening now, because if you look back to where he was a week ago, thinking about his neighbors, you know, working on that van, and then now seeing all of this activity, it's all very, very crazy, you know. Slowly, throughout the days, it's just grown more and more and more activity here. I was here on Thursday and on Friday. You know, Friday we started to see a lot more neighbors come here to protest, to kind of make their voices heard, to say, hey, Brian, come out and tell us where Gabby is. Then little did we know that at that time, that Brian was actually not inside the home, just his parents. And so, you know, a lot of different developments happening right now. We're working to give you guys everything we can. I've been walking around outside here, just talking to neighbors, and that next door neighbor, here's what he had to say.
What do these people think I'm doing? What's in those and their purpose. So even though you don't see too much activity on the front lawn at this point, there's a lot of activity surrounding this police tape where we're standing and where neighbors are watching, and there's a lot of activity inside of that home. We're waiting for FBI agents to come out with any sort of information, any sort of evidence. We saw not just those coolers go in, but a short time ago we also saw a light blue backpack being carried in by a law enforcement officer, as well as a case which Rich Colco referenced earlier could be used to get some evidence off of different electronic devices. So right now it's dozens and dozens of people out here hoping to get some information, not just media, but neighbors as well.
Yeah, you know, right now you guys are looking at the house and all you can see is the law enforcement in there. But if you guys can't really tell, but we have neighbors out here on their lawn chairs. We have them outside just staring at what's going on, as well as the media here. You know, I'm gonna have our cameraman Joseph pan over to the right over here. So to the right, directly to the right of the home, I spoke with the homeowner right there, the neighbor, and he was telling me about what he was doing when he saw all of this go by. You know, a front row seat. Here's take a listen. Okay, I was just told that we actually don't have the sound bite there. But basically what he told me was that he was just mowing his grass when all of a sudden these cars and cars of FBI agents came in through. You know, this whole week he's been watching everything unfold. He, you know, went from thinking, oh, there's this missing girl, I saw her and her boyfriend working on their van, to, oh my goodness, there was so much attention on this case. You know, he's a little frustrated at first. Now he's just very curious, just like everybody else is. So, you know, we'll continue to try and get some more sound from neighbors out here. I'm sure they all have a lot to say.
Just saw someone walk out of the home. You can see them walking toward us in the driveway. But otherwise, we haven't seen too much activity in the last 2 hours or so. It was very active here as all the FBI agents entered the home, and that was just before 10 o'clock. But otherwise, we haven't seen too much going on. We saw a backpack, a case, and some styrofoam coolers enter the home, but most everything that we've seen, it has been those different items and people entering the home. Not too many people exiting, with the exception of when the FBI agents walked in and out with Brian Laundrie's parents for a brief bit of time when their search started just before 10.
still up.
From 5 different agencies over the last couple of days, and they do believe that they had exhausted all their search efforts out there. There could be additional things going on right now that we don't know about, and that could be why the FBI is out here. And of course, Linda, we will get you all that information as soon as we have it.
So, I mean, the focus is on.
I did reach out to the Northport Police Department. They will not confirm that that note was found. It very well could have just been a tow notice. That's something that Fox News had also been reporting. Just that the car had been out there at that reserve, and it probably shouldn't have been out there for that long. Linda, repeat your first question. Leaders, and that's that they saw him missing on Friday.
And, okay, their home now is a crime scene. Any idea if the parents.
All we know is that a search warrant was put out for their family home today. The FBI agents are in there at this point in time. We haven't seen any movement for the last couple of hours, but of course investigators are in there. That's what we have so far.
All right, and
again, this case continues to evolve.
It does, and we're glad that we have you out at the scene. We know you'll stay on top of it and update us if any new information comes in. Kim.
Ісуса, якщо знаєте пісню.
God, for the rest of our lives.
Я надіюсь, що Бог
Or maybe if you are not following God with your whole heart, maybe a little. Tommy was. In heaven, we're gonna sing and worship God forever and always.
говорить, що мій дід мені колись
I can only imagine. Will I be able to speak at all? I can only. When all I will do is forever.
Oh, we're gonna go down now. I'm uploading something. I don't know. I'm uploading something.
Internet sleuths trying to work out what happened to Gabby Petito are convinced they have spotted someone digging in a field near where a white van was seen. The Facebook group Find Gabby posted a YouTube video yesterday which they claim showed Gabby Petito's white van in the Wyoming National Park. Internet sleuths think the footage shows someone digging in a field not far from where the white van is parked. The white van seen in the YouTube footage could be the one belonging to Gabby Petito. Followers of the Facebook group believe they can see a figure in the footage. The post said, while editing a video tonight, Jen found some footage of ours from August 27, 2021 at around 6 p.m. around the Grand Tetons at Spread Creek dispersed camping. If you were in this area on this day, check your photos and footage. Please share this link to our YouTube video to spread awareness. Armchair detectives quickly scoured the footage in minute detail in the hope clues or evidence could be spotted that might help in explaining what happened to the missing woman. Responding to the post, one person wrote, "Someone needs to check that field ASAP. I don't think it's her, but there is something of significance he's put out there. Remains of her phone, jewelry, something of significance to her. Something is in a field to the left of screen." Another person added, "Definitely a person there," and attached a screen grab appearing to show a figure in some bushes behind the van. Internet sleuths declare Gabby Petito's boyfriend Brian Laundrie is seen tweeting at evidence about women who go missing in a video uploaded to the couple Kowalchuk travel channel. Laundrie, who has been named an individual of curiosity within the case, is briefly quoted reading what seems to be Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation, a 2014 novel about 4 women who enterprise into the so-called Area X, the place 3 of them die, and the 4th stays completely. The clip is of Brian reading a book, and it is apparently called Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, about groups of people exploring uncharted terrain that go missing. TikTok person Alyssa Rose mentioned about the disturbing video, according to Newsweek. The eerie clip was posted to the couple's channel, Nomadic Static, on August 19th. This particular book in the series follows 4 women. What she mentioned below the deal with, at a ST93 mention. So many people have said that information needs to be handed over to the police. But different TikTok customers discovered the connection far-fetched, the outlet famous. This book Annihilation 10,000% has nothing to do with this case. It's literally about aliens. This is all.
And overnight, her father reacted to the news. Confirm 100% that we found Gabby. especially since their van was found outside their home. Let's go to Fox 2's Evan Axelbank, who's live there in Northport. Gabby Petito's distraught family is denouncing her boyfriend. The one person that can help find Gabby refuses to help, her family says. Brian is also refusing to. Explain why he left Gabby all alone and drove her van to Florida. These are critical questions that require immediate answers. We have no knowledge of him helping in any way. I spoke today to Gabby's stepfather, James. Development found that Forrest is scheduled for Tuesday. It is expected that Gabby and her family have already heard of this couple to contact them. Now, just to recap, Petito had been, many people are invested in this incident, twists and turns of person's monitoring and social, all over social media.
Aj, spokojnú noč.
Buenas noches.
ви ще так відкривайте, наче я не знаю, ну, так різко ж.
Ти що, в жопі колупаєшся? Забирай свої манатки, бо завтра мені вставати у 3:30, я лягаю спати. Так що, заходь, забирай свої манатки і хай ти мене тільки розбудиш.
Та мені вроді нічого не треба. Я наушники шукала, і вони оказалися тут. А, за 4 спала. Ужас. Нічого не чую.
Як мене бісить, то я іноді з вечора закриваюся, щоб ти не гатила в дверях. А завтра мені сильно рано вставати.
Ах. Я сьогодні в час заснула.
Тут ходів, надіюсь, нема?
Та вроді ні. Надіюсь, не появиться. Co ty by nalał?
Szósty kanał.
Спасибо.
Всегда обращаться.
Hello, and thanks for being here. I'm Anna Cabrera in New York. Our breaking news: authorities are questioning the parents of Brian Laundrie, a fiance of missing blogger Gabby Petito. In this video, we see the FBI escorting Christopher and Roberta Laundrie into their home. This is shortly after executing a search warrant today, and this comes one day after investigators discovered human remains in Wyoming matching Petito's description. She had been on a road trip with her fiance. That couple had documented their travels across several western states on social media. That stopped shortly before Laundrie returned home alone on September 1st. CNN correspondent Leila Santiago is on the scene in Florida. What's happening there?
Anna, Sunday, we heard from FBI in Wyoming saying that they had been searching up there for Gabby Petito, and then we learned from the coroner in the area that they found a body with characteristics that were consistent with Gabby Petito. The family also being notified and now asking for privacy. So quite a bit of developments almost daily here with this story, but the big question remains, where is Brian Laundrie? Police trying to find him, hoping that could give them answers as to what happened here. Now, we expect tomorrow that we could get some more answers because we could see the results from the autopsy report from the body that was found on Sunday in the Grand Teton National Park.
That's right. They have not given us a cause of death. Still waiting on a 100% confirmation that body is indeed Gabby Petito. Leila Santiago, thank you. Please keep us updated. For more perspective now on the investigation.
Essentially, they get a copy of everything that's on that machine, and then they can go back and analyze that stuff in the lab later. They'll be looking for forensic evidence. They'll be looking for anything that he might have had with him on that trip that they might want to look at for hair fiber evidence, for potentially blood spatter or other other biological evidence. So there's all kinds of things that might be in there. We don't know what's in there yet, but we should find out at some point.
Certainly more questions than answers on many fronts at this hour, but we do know Laundrie returned to this house on September 1st without Gabby Petito. So that is now almost 3 weeks ago. Why wait until now to take this step with this search warrant?
Well, it's a good question. There are.
We hear about, like, for instance, a missing teenager, right? We don't know. We don't know if he killed her. We don't know if he left her out there and then she just wandered off into the wilderness and died of exposure. We don't know if she were killed by that other guy who killed the lesbian couple. Okay, we don't know. We have, we can play armchair detectives and start thinking about what happened here, what happened there, blah, blah, blah. We don't know. So until we get any information out of him, if they do an autopsy, I don't know how long she's been dead. I don't know what kind of condition the body's in. We don't know much going on right now. But, we all know and we can all agree that this case only got the crazy amount of attention mainly because of white with blonde hair. It is what it is, guys. There's
Next here this evening to the growing concern at the southern border. Nearly 13,000 migrants huddling under a bridge in Texas, mostly from Haiti after that devastating earthquake. ABC's Marcus Moore tonight from Texas.
Tonight, city leaders declaring a state of emergency in the small Texas town of Del Rio. Nearly 13,000 men, women, and children have converged from the border town.
Just joining us. Oh, and I think hopefully you have me here. I know cellular reception here on the call-in line is it's freaking up. Welcome to News in Real Time here, folks.
In a certain way where they're looking for, they don't always say exactly what police are looking for. So were they able to clear an area and allow the laundries back in? That's very possible. Clear one room? We don't know. Are they after something specific? Did they bring the laundries back in to ask some questions about what they're looking for? We know none of those answers yet.
Yeah, and I know that there's some videos out there, buddy, and again we are working here to provide you here with the image set. But I just want to let you know here that this is live here in the center of your screen. 8 on your side, senior investigator Walt Buteau joining us here.
What is this? Live right now.
Online and our various classes. We're live with the NWA now with the FBI. Swarm Brian Laundrie Stanley's home here in Northport, Florida. Quite the scene here one day after Gabby Petito was, or the body matching Gabby Petito's description was found in Northport, Florida. I think now we do have, let's see if the radio is back online. Paul Lamison and Eagle 8 HD. Hey there, Paul, it's JP back with you on WFLA Now. Can you read me and do you hear me? And what do you see up there in Eagle? Hey JP, I can hear you.
What do you see up there in Eagle?
Are you ready for me?
Hey JB, I can hear you. Are you ready for me?
Yes, sir. You're live on WFLA Now. What do we got here from the sky?
Hey JB, we're over the house right now, the one that was just swarmed by FBI and Northport police. I'm going to show you a couple things as we continue to circle this home. And again, it's all, the road is shut down to traffic. Media is out on the side of the house. There's the media. Here is the home. Now, JB, I want to show you this as we come around. Remember the Mustang they talked so much about that Brian apparently took to the park and to go hiking, and then the parents returned it back to the driveway? There it is. That's the Mustang that's been back in the driveway since Wednesday of this week. And again, the parents didn't report him missing until late Friday evening. There's the Mustang still out in front. The red pickup truck is the father's pickup truck. We've seen that come and go with the father and mother several times. But again, the other ones are law enforcement vehicles. You see police out standing guard in front of the home. Now, the other thing I want to show you as we make our way around the back of the home, this shed that's out in the backyard. We watched as the agents came out of the home and walked the perimeter of this shed, taking pictures, looking at it, taking some measurements. They then opened the door and went inside. We saw them take pictures inside as well. Again, we don't know what's going on in there, but we do know that's what they did. The agents then left the shed and went back through the screen porch into the home. We have seen no other activity coming and going from this home. Again, this is where Brian Laundrie was supposed to be staying until he vanished. His parents say he's missing. The Petito family says he's hiding. He's not missing. So that's what's going on now. Again, earlier today, the agents, Northport Police and federal agents, came to the house to serve a court-ordered search warrant. So that's what you're looking at now, JB. And again, here's a better shot of the Mustang. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to you. I have a live hit to do on WFLA TV. But again, JB, I'll be up here for a while, at least until we have to go refuel. fuel. And right now it's quiet. Everything going on inside the home, nothing outside of the home. But we'll have it covered if anything changes. I'll throw it back to you, JB.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Again, Paul Lamison, our chief photographer here at WFLA, and the voice of Eagle 8 HD. Back here with you live, everybody, on WFLA now. Big thank you to Paul. He's going to be live in our 11 a.m. newscast. He is live in moments here in our 11 a.m. newscast. One more time, 8 on your side, senior investigator Walt Buteau joining us here, and Walt has a lot of work to do here, so I'm going to do my very best here to answer as many questions as possible. And Walt, you feel free to jump in here as needed. And so that way that we can continue to work on both our television and digital products here simultaneously. And I think we're going to try to have others as well join us and rotate our team of reporters here in and out. We're not going anywhere, folks, here on WFLA Now. We're going to stay here with you live and bring you the very latest here because we know how much this story means to you. Let's just kind of talk about that for 1 second. We know how much this story means to you. We know that there are so many folks that are heartbroken here and went to bed really down last night.
I think, and again, it's that social media impact that this was somebody who put their life out there, shared what they did with this person of interest. They were both out there. I think there's this somewhat of a mirage, I think, to a degree that social media creates, where I think we know these folks more than we do, but we also see this telegenic woman and her boyfriend or fiance, and they're traveling the country and they're doing these pictures and showing us this life, and then even if you didn't follow it before, you followed it in retrospect after it devolved into what has happened with one of them apparently no longer with us, the other one, as the family of Gabby Petito said, the other one hiding, or the other one missing, depending on how you look at it, and now the FBI. And it's such a visual story, it's easy to be drawn into it. It's like we said, I think we said this on Friday, JB, it's a 2021 story. It has all those elements. Even we're just now really getting to a point where a small police department like Moab I don't know when they got their body cams, but I bet they haven't had them very long, because we have local departments that don't have body cams. And imagine this case and this investigation without the body cams from August 12th. Imagine where we would be. We would know so much less if those body cams weren't there. We were able to see them and hear them, and at their lowest point, and it sort of gave us a view into what we thought could happen, the worst case scenario, and that's where we are right now.
Let's see if we can bring in 8 on your sides, Christine McLarty now. Team coverage here for you folks on WFLA Now. And Christine, if you can hear me, feel free to hop in front of the camera or come through here on the microphone. And you are there outside of the laundry household. You've been there for some time watching the scene unfold here. What can you tell us, and what have you seen so far this morning?
Hey JB, can you hear me?
I can, Christine. Hope all is well there. I know you've been working extremely hard. What can you tell us as far as the scene that is unfolding here after the FBI and police swarmed Brian Laundrie's family's home this morning?
Yeah, absolutely, JB. So we're out here on scene. We are at the laundry house right now, and within the last hour or so, about 15 different police agents with the FBI and Northport Police, they came swarming this home, and now they're inside the home. So we saw them bring a lot of suitcases and a lot of documents inside this home. This situation went from 0 to 100 really quick. Now we've been out here since about 4 o'clock this morning, and all day there's been nothing going on here. But then about an hour ago, multiple cars came rushing down the street. They turned their lights on. The crime scene tape went up around the neighborhood. We saw the parents of Brian be escorted into the home here, and we are now waiting to learn more about what's going on. We did hear from the FBI that there is an active search warrant, so we have been asked to stay across the street, and we will keep bringing you the latest as we know more.
Christine, we've had a lot of questions come in pertaining to the parents of Brian Laundrie. What can you tell us about Brian Laundrie's parents as far as the search warrant being executed this morning? Any details you can provide will help our audience here.
The only details that I have as of now are that about 20 minutes before the cars came rushing in, Brian's dad came out to his car and grabbed some papers, grabbed some documents, and then about 20 minutes later is when the FBI showed up. We were told that they escorted him and his wife, the couple, into the van, and now that they have been escorted back into the home, we believe. Again, this is a fluid situation. We're trying to learn as much as we can as we're here. But their house is completely blocked off, along with the street is blocked off about, I'd say, 3 or 4 houses in each direction. We have the street blocked off here, so a lot of people wondering what's next.
Christine McLarty, 8 on your side, WFLA News Channel 8 here. Christine, we'll spend a few more minutes here just kind of speaking with you to gain your perspective here on the story and get the very latest here from you. Folks joining us here, we know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of comments in the queue here as far as your hashtag AJB, hashtag AWALT comments, that we are going to come to those questions and comments here. Again, just breaking down the very, very latest with 8 on your sides, Christine McLarty here. And Christine, can you just speak to the amount of attention the story has received over the last 24 hours, especially after the terrible news that we received in Northwest Wyoming last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think this has gained national attention around the world. I've had people tweeting me and Facebooking about the reports that we're doing from Britain and overseas. I mean, everybody is just can't seem to look away from this case just because there are so many questions. And now that we're starting to get answers, I think this heightened sense of where is Brian has become much more apparent within the last 24 hours here, since we heard the news at 6 p.m. last night about Gabby. And I mean, everybody, when we're in gas stations around the neighborhood here, you know, filling up and getting different things, we have people thanking us, saying thank you for continuing trying to find answers and staying on the story. You know, a lot of people just really want to know what is going on, and of course, I think as all your viewers and you can attest, I watched your incredibly emotional WFLA Now last night, and I mean, it's just touched all of our hearts in a way that Gabby will live forever in all our hearts, and we all just want answers about what's next.
8 on your sides, Christine McLarty. Thank you, Christine. We're looking here, everybody, at 2 live pictures. On the left side of your screen is from Eagle 8 HD over the Laundry family home right now. On the right side of your screen is the shot being provided to us by the crew of 8 on your sides, Christine McLarty. Christine, this scene now, what's next here based on what we know at this time? It appears, of course, we've been reporting from News Nation Now's Brian Enton, and of course from WFLA, that the parents are back in the house right now. The parents there were, they had left or had been, of course, what's the word I'm looking for? Excuse me, escorted, thank you, from the scene here. And now the question is, what's next? Do you have any idea how long police are going to remain here on scene and what's going to unfold here in the hours ahead?
Yeah, that's a great question, JB. So as I said before, this is an active and fluid situation. So things have been changing. About an hour ago, there was nobody here on scene. We've been here since 3 o'clock this morning, and this has been very quiet. The reserve, the wildlife reserve, just about 10 minutes away, that they would not be doing a search there. So many of us came back here, and we've just kind of been waiting here. And then about an hour ago is when 15 unmarked cars showed up. About a dozen FBI agents along with Northport Police got out of their cars and they taped off this area. We really don't know what's next. We know that there is a warrant, that they are inside investigating, and we could be out here another 5 minutes, we could be out here another 5 hours or 5 days. We just don't know the answer to that question right now, but we will keep everybody updated as we learn that.
I want to, one more time here for everybody joining us here on WFLA Now, let you know that more of your hashtag AJB, hashtag AWALT comments are coming up here. But Christine, before we let you go, I just want to bring up that one observation that you made in your live report here just moments ago for those of you just joining us. Oh, and I think we might have lost Christine. Christine, hopefully you have me here. I know cellular reception here as far as your call-in line is breaking up. Welcome to News in Real Time here, folks. Christine, do you have us? believe that we might have lost Christine McLarty, but I will, unless Christine, one more time.
Hey, JB, I think I just got you back.
All right, there you are, Christine. I want to just bring up that one note, that observation that you made earlier, that you said that about 20 minutes before the FBI and police came swarming into the scene here of the Laundrie family household, you said that you saw Brian Landry's father go out to one of the vehicles here. Maybe you can again tell us which vehicle it was, and you said retrieved some form of paperwork, some papers out of the vehicle.
Huh?
Yeah, so I actually didn't see it with my own two eyes, but there's a lot of people here, and that is word over here. I should have clarified that is what everybody over here is saying that they saw. I can't tell you exactly which car it was that he grabbed the documents out of, but again, I did hear that he grabbed documents out of a car, and then that the parents were escorted into that black van that's just over on the left before being taken into the house.
Christine, any final notes from your reporter's notebook out there, or the notes application on your iPhone? Any final notes here as far as what you're going to be monitoring here in the hours ahead as you're here live outside the scene? In fact, I think we see you from Eagle 8 HD. Any final notes here before we let you go?
Yeah, I think that I just want to, say that again, this is a very active and fluid situation. We're going to have team coverage. We have one of our colleagues, Allison, is just down the street here as we try to learn more. We've been out here since 4 a.m. and we expect to be out here until this situation is resolved. So we will continue bringing you team coverage, and of course, JB, thanks for all the great work that you're doing here with WFLA now, and we'll keep you posted.
Class act folks here. Christine McLarty, follow her, of course, on social media. She's fantastic. And a big thank you to all of our team that is out here giving us and giving you folks the very latest here. Thanks, Christine, for taking some time to join us. All right, back here with you live, everybody on WFLA now. JB here with you. And I think that what we're going to do here is have some additional folks join us and provide us with their perspective. Just again, an interesting observation that Christine is noting that it appears that something might have been, that could be absolutely nothing, it could be something, but some paperwork apparently being removed from one of the vehicles outside of the Laundrie household by Brian Landry's father, based on the report that Christine just gave us here. So again, could be something, or could be a big fat nothing. We just don't know what that means at this time, but of course we'll keep you posted if we learn anything new here. But the FBI, police, this morning here, for those of you just joining us, coming in blazing, swarming the home here and executing a court-authorized search warrant here. The grounds for that warrant remain unclear. We're going to get an affidavit, as we understand it, and we'll be able to shed some more light on what it was that got us to this point. Because we've had a lot of your questions and comments coming in here. Live here at the scene of Brian Laundrie's home in Northport, Florida. As you can see here, crime scene tape is up around the Laundrie household. Details still coming in here at this hour, folks. Updates as they become available, plus the very latest from our team here at WFLA News Channel 8. Starts now on WFLA Now. Hey there, everybody. JB Buno here with you live once again. Great to have 8 on your side. Senior investigator Walt Buteau joining us there on the right side of your screen. Walt, let's start with you. What do we know here? This is now less than 24 hours after the tragic news came out of Northwest Wyoming that a body matching the description of Gabby Petito was found by search crews there in Northwest Wyoming, in the area of Grand Teton National Park. Here we are now, the very next day. There was no active search in Myakkahatchee. That was not in the plans, not in the cards for this morning. And now we have crime scene tape up here around the Laundrie household. What are we being told here at this hour?
We know exactly what you said, that the search is on for Brian Laundrie. We're waiting actually on the forensic results from Wyoming about the body that was found, but everybody seems to think at this point it is indeed Gabby. We do not have any idea at this point, because it's so early on the cause of death regarding that body. As far as Brian Laundrie, they searched all weekend in a 25,000 acre reserve, Carlton Reserve. I think there's 80 miles of trails, and the police department, FBI searched there. We also know now that we're told that the FBI is at that scene that you see on the video right there. The FBI is at Brian Laundrie's house. What are they looking for? That's unknown. But it is interesting. It happened this morning, and it happened within a day of the body being found. So you kind of could at least wonder if what was found in Wyoming somehow led them here, or maybe what was found on electronic devices somehow led them here to look for something connected to this. What is still a missing person case. I don't think anybody's called it a crime yet, right?
No, it's still a missing persons case. Let's read the latest on what we have here regarding the search warrant. I have this here. The FBI executing a court-authorized search warrant today at the Laundrie residence in Northport, Florida, relevant to the Gabby Petito investigation. No further details can be provided since this is an active and ongoing investigation. This coming from FBI Tampa, tagged FBI Denver. So what's going on? This is live here, folks, in the center of your screen. Walt Pito, JB Buno here with you. We're not going anywhere. We're going to stay here with you live. We do expect there to be some updates here in the hours ahead as we learn more here. All the immense pressure, of course, on law enforcement from just the public and the weight of all of the public pressure coming down here on wanting there to be results, especially after the news that we heard yesterday, Walt, as far as Gabby Petito and what's believed to be her remains found there in northwest Wyoming. So here we are here, a court-authorized search warrant here, and let's make this clear here as well. Because a lot of folks still are wrapping their brains around this. We don't know where Brian is. Brian is still a missing person. And so while they might have something, maybe, and Walt brings up a good point here, might be electronically here that leads them to now finally have a court-authorized search warrant today, Brian himself is still missing. And it's going to be very curious to see when we find out what the details of this warrant are, if we are going to find out details of exactly what the warrant is, because warrants can range. They can, of course, they come there's a variety of different types of search warrants out there. In that, are they going into the house to retrieve one particular item, Walt? Or are they going in? Are they able to take anything that they find necessary to assist them in trying to find justice for Gabby?
And the story will be in the affidavit once we get that. We should be able to get that hopefully today. The affidavit, obviously, you go, in a case of a warrant, when you get a warrant, you go to a judge, you say, Judge, generally you have to be pretty specific, and those specifics sometimes, oftentimes will tell us what exactly police are looking for, and they'll also give us some detail about what they're looking for. So for all we know, they obviously know more than they're telling us at this point. That we did a video earlier, I think about 14 minutes ago, of apparently Mrs. Laundrie being taken into a van, an FBI van.
I'm going to see if I can bring that up here and see if we have that here available to us. I'll pass along a note here to our team if we can get that video turned around here. But that was how long ago would you say, Walt?
13 minutes ago, and I'm seeing it on Twitter. So I'm not sure if we have it in or not, but we do know, again, FBI is there, and if they're there, you brought up a really good point. If they're there, they're looking for something that is in that warrant affidavit, and we're gonna have to wait to see what happened. Again, though, to recap, the body was found over the weekend, waiting on the final results of that. But even as the FBI said that, they also offered condolences to the family of Gabby Petito. So it makes you think there's something identifiable on that body. They're pretty sure it is, but obviously dotting their I's and crossing their T's. They're not willing to say it's her. They also did not offer us any indication on the cause of death. And so at this point, we don't know the cause of death. And we also, again, interestingly enough, while there is crime scene tape around that house and the FBI is there and the FBI was seen taking Brian's mom away, possibly just to get her out of the way, not necessarily because she has anything to do with this, but they're searching the house. They probably want to be alone in that house as they search for it, search the house. So even with that, Brian Laundrie is, at least from what we can tell, a person of interest, and it would be a pretty safe bet, it seems, to think that could change today, that it will be more than that.
And there are a lot of commenters here. For all of our commenters here joining us here on WFLA Now, great to have you with us here, and always wish that the circumstances were better, especially this week here with the subject matter that we're talking about here, continuing to talk about Gabby Petito, and now, of course, the focus really shifting to Brian Laundrie. And we were live last night with you on WFLA Now for that heartbreaking press conference. And I remember we we preached to people to allow there to be a moment for Gabby last night after we had, of course, that press conference, and you saw the FBI spokesperson there, who Walt, I mean, was visibly upset, shaken by the news that he had to deliver and by what they had discovered there in Northwest Wyoming. And I remember that we were on stream last night, and we had preached that there be a moment here just to honor Gabby. We took you live to Northport, Florida, where a memorial was set up outside of City Hall. But now this morning, waking up, checking Twitter, checking Facebook, checking Instagram, checking my email and everything else, all the people that have been messaging me, and people now say, okay, we want justice for Gabby. We want there to be justice in this case. And if you think that I'm hearing it, imagine what the FBI is hearing, imagine what Northport Police is hearing, and imagine what they have been hearing over the last several days here. The calls, Walt, for justice here in this case are unbelievably loud here and emphatic and emotional, and people here want there to be resolution sooner rather than later. People, I took messages from people. They don't want this to be one of those cases that lingers on for days and then weeks and then months, and then before you know it, the year is 2025 and we still don't know what happened to Brian Laundrie. People want there to be justice as soon as possible and to track down Brian now. And the year is 2021, Walt. We talked earlier this week. You would think we have technological means here more than ever before to find somebody that is out there, somebody who has vanished. And of course, he is a missing persons here. So you would hope that where we are technologically, we can get results faster now than we would in perhaps the 70s, 80s.
You know, but think about it though. A couple points there. First of all, the outpouring of sorrow for this girl. I think part of that is, again, it's 2021, and she had opened up her life as on social media about what she was doing. They both had been this couple that had thousands of followers, and then of course now they have thousands more. And I think people maybe in some way they'd been minor celebrities on social media, and then of course it blew up into a infamy as opposed to fame. But still, that I think draws us toward Gabby and even Brian to some degree. But then back to the modern technology. As much technology as we have, Brian, if he doesn't have his phone, he chose a place that his parents said he knows very well, the Carlton Reserve, 25,000 acres, 80 miles of trails. This is a guy that has some experience, I must think, at camping and living outside. I know they had a van, but they were camping in very isolated areas. So he probably has some skills to hide pretty well. And that particular area, we know from our reporters who have been out there, the electronics don't work that well out there. I think it's still possible to hide if you're in the wilderness. It's just a matter of once you come out of the wilderness. I think your point is well made. Once you come out of the wilderness, his face is everywhere. We had a report that somebody spotted someone who looked like him in Jacksonville. One of our reporters had heard that. I think Allison Henning had heard that because she used to work in Jacksonville. So yeah, once you're out of the wilderness, it's going to be tough to stay private, especially with the focus and the visuals that we have of this case. Think about it. We've had these missing persons cases before that turn into much worse. But have we had video, so much video of the person of interest? Think about it. We've seen Petito stand. We know how tall he is. We know how he looks. We know what he sounds like. We know his gestures. We know him probably better than any suspect we've had in quite a while, I think.
We're queuing up, and I'm all over the place here, folks, because we have a lot of feeds here now. In fact, we almost have, I believe, that Eagle 8 HD, our chopper, is going to be at the scene here momentarily. Hello to our social media audience. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. We're back now live. That was looping content there, previously recorded content. Now we're back live here outside of the Laundrie home. We're being told that a tow truck is arriving here at the Laundrie home. We're preparing a new live stream for a new digital audience here live on WFLA Now for our YouTube and audience and our audience joining us elsewhere on Nexstar station websites across the country. We're going to stay here with you live in this player here and stay live. Here is the tow truck coming in.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with the white van, Florida license plate, white land, gentleman.
Where's it at?
5, 6 years. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower.
Or what were they doing?
Cooperative, but what do you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by, and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Grant County Sheriff's Office.
Were you?
What? You mean the memory? Okay, I will. I'll get it, yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little update here. Basically, these tow trucks have arrived. You remember there was a black FBI van. That van left like 15 minutes ago, and now there's two tow trucks. One of them is here now, and they're towing the Mustang away. They're now trying to attach. I don't know much about towing, but they're trying to get it onto the tow truck. About 15 FBI agents are still inside the house right now. I saw them going with boxes a couple hours ago. They haven't come out though, so the search is definitely still happening inside the house. also interesting, we got a press release from the Laundrie family attorney saying that they're going to be having a press conference tomorrow in New York. That the attorney for the Laundries is going to have a press conference tomorrow in New York at 1 p.m. We asked some follow-up questions about a reaction to the FBI search happening at the house, and he said he wasn't answering any questions until tomorrow at 1 p.m. People are asking why would they tow the car, so we know the Mustang is likely important because police say they believe that may be how Brian Laundrie got to the park when he allegedly went hiking. Yes, the Laundries are still inside the house right now, the parents are. No, they didn't take off the wheels. I think it's also about to start raining. I'm gonna move my backpack under the neighbor's porch really quick. I have my shirt to wear on TV later.
Live look here outside of Brian Laundrie's home in Northport, Florida, as now a tow truck here has arrived here to the block in Northport where the media is gathered, where of course the FBI and authorities executed a search warrant at the Laundrie home earlier today. Hey there folks, JD Buno with the live on WFLA Now. Still have Share to Help activated here as we continue to look out for Brian Laundrie wherever he may be. Still a missing person here out of Northport, Florida, but we're looking here live at a tow truck that has just pulled up here to the scene to the Laundrie house. I want to get everybody caught up as to where we are here on this story. Earlier this morning, the FBI authorities pulled up here to the home in Northport to execute a court-authorized search warrant in the last several minutes. We have received more details on that search warrant. We hope to have more information. We are combing through some newly obtained documents right now. We don't want to present you with that document just yet as far as what we know about the document because we just got it in our inbox here moments ago. We're looking through it right now to decipher what it tells us about the actual search warrant that was executed this morning. We're looking here at the picture here, and I believe the photographer here has is repositioning the shot here, so we're not looking here at the driver, but let's explain what is going on here based on what we know from our reporters here at the scene. The tow truck here has been pulled up. We'll kind of listen in here for
Someone's asking how we on the neighbor's property.
The tow truck has pulled up here at the scene, as we understand it, to tow away the silver Ford Mustang convertible. Now, this convertible is a key portion of where we are right now in the investigation. Police have confirmed that Brian Laundrie's Mustang, Ford Mustang, was picked up by the Laundrie family at the Carlton Reserve. Brian's car was at the Laundrie house on Friday night when we were here live on WFLA Now. We were talking specifically about that vehicle. And Northport police have added, of course, that it is possible that Brian might have hurt himself. These are details, of course, that we have been talking about now for some time. But that's where we are now with this story. Now, the Ford Mustang is clearly being towed away here under the guidance here of authorities that have been executing a search warrant at the household today in Northport, Florida. So that's where we stand right now. We'll take you back out here live to the scene. We can answer some of your questions here in the Facebook Live comment section using the hashtag AJB, and we'll try to do so here. But let's just kind of listen in here. We're just going to take you to the scene here for the raw camera feed and listen into what's going on right now in Northport back in 96. Those of you watching us here on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, our various social media platforms, are looking at it live outside Brian Laundrie's home and the silver Ford Mustang convertible is being towed from the driveway under the guidance of the FBI and law enforcement agencies here in Florida, as again, a search warrant executed earlier today at the Laundrie household. And there goes the silver Ford Mustang convertible, gone now from the driveway. A vehicle that police confirm that the vehicle was driven to the Carlton Reserve, where a massive search was underway. That search no longer active, police reallocating their resources to other ongoing search efforts here in the Tampa Bay area, here across Florida. The search for Brian continues, just not at Carlton Reserve, just because they spent the weekend looking, and based on what they were able to find there, they believe that the best strategy going forward right now is to focus their attention elsewhere. Where exactly that is, it's hard to say, but perhaps some of the clues here obtained here during the executed search warrant here today in Northport provides us with getting a little bit closer to finding answers here as to where Brian might be. This is clearly an extremely active investigation, developments occurring throughout the day here as far as the search warrant being executed, and now, of course, the Ford Mustang convertible that Brian is said to have driven to the Carlton Reserve, and that was then picked up from Carlton Reserve and driven back here to the home on where it was on Friday night. This is all now developing here at this time, and we're hoping to pass along information here to you. You can clearly see that the rain is coming down here outside of the Northport home, but also too, if we go here full screen, tap the touch screen here, we'll go full screen, and we can show you that this is clearly a significantly less active scene than what we had earlier on today, when we had vehicles pulling right up to the front door of this home to execute that search warrant, and things were being brought in, things were being brought out. Brian's parents were escorted from the home as the search warrant was initially being conducted, and then they were allowed back into the home. So far less activity here now at the hour. It's approximately 2:41 Eastern Time here in Northport, Florida. We're live here for you at WFLA Now in Tampa Bay, in Tampa, Florida. Let's get to some of the hashtag HeyJB comments that are coming in here in the Facebook Live comment section. For those of you who have been with us here before, you know how this works. Use hashtag HeyJB with your comment. You see it underneath my name here on the left, sort of on the left side of your screen here, and if you use that hashtag, you can animate your comments on screen. If you don't want your comment to be featured, just don't use the hashtag, and we won't put up your name and your profile picture and everything up here on screen. I want to address all of the folks in my old media market. I'm here in the Tampa Bay area. I used to work for WKRG, our sister station, our sister station in Mobile, Alabama. To all of our Alabama viewers, hello there to you. There has been a considerable amount, enough now that we can talk about it, there has been a considerable amount of social media activity regarding Tillman's Corner, Alabama, again in the Mobile area, as to a potential sighting. There is nothing that we have officially on the record from law enforcement that leads them to believe at this time, unless Alabama news agencies have been reporting something in the last several minutes that I might have missed. I will check here to see what's going on. Oh wow. Hold on a second. This. Okay, so there's no information reading this here. There's no information from police that the situation unfolding in Tillman's Corner, Alabama, is connected to Brian Laundrie. But interestingly enough, there's been tweets, social media posts, but I've reminded our audience here that you have to take a lot of that initially with a grain of salt. I've had so many threads of people messaging me to my WFLA JB Facebook account and saying, "Oh my God, JB, looking at this, check this out, look at this, like 7 messages in a row from the same person, and then I just see an hour later, never mind, disproven. And that's what happens. There's a lot of things that pop up, and everyone is so antsy, and everyone is so much on the edge of their seat right now that anything that they believe clues them into Brian Laundrie's location, everyone jumps immediately on it. But we have to be reminded here sometimes that we have to be responsible in following what law enforcement tells us and following what we know from credible sources of information. Let's go here live to outside the home here. A vehicle has been pulled up, and we just saw some officers coming out of the home. So clearly, officers still going in and out of the home here in North Fort, Florida. I will monitor the situation in Alabama, and if anything changes, of course, there we will let you know. But one more time, while there is a situation unfolding in Tillman's Corner, Alabama, there's no information at this time that this is related to the search for missing person Brian Laundrie. Let's listen in here from the scene.
Okay, merci. Джон, где си ти?
Не знаю. Обожаю Тора.
Hey folks, JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. We have lost our feed here momentarily. We hope to bring it to you again here when we can. And yeah, I think that we're monitoring some developments here, but we do not know. This is what happens when news plays out in real time. So things can happen from time to time where it could be something of significance, it could be something else, but we're gonna stay here with you live on WFLA Now. We're gonna step away from the microphone here for just a moment as we kind of figure out exactly what is going on here. Back when we have some information to provide.
Oh.
Hey folks, JD Bruno here with you live on WFLA now. Okay, we now have the shot back up. It's been a choppy signal here, everybody, from Northport, Florida. You can see now that a utility truck or utility van of some kind here, this is not the white van, Ford van, of course. We're talking about a Ford utility vehicle of some kind here that is now where the Ford Mustang, the silver Ford Mustang, was just moments ago towed away here from the laundry home and under the guidance of the FBI and law enforcement here in Sarasota County. So we're here live monitoring the situation here, and we'll take a closer look as to whether or not they're loading anything into this vehicle. We're also getting new word of documentation regarding the search warrant that was executed today, the court-authorized search warrant at the laundry home. This is all an effort to provide us with more information as to the Gabby Petito story and also the ongoing missing persons case that is Brian Laundrie. Brian Laundrie is still a missing person. He is not a suspect. He is not at the center of a homicide investigation. Gabby's death is still, of course, the cause of death being determined there by the medical officials there in Northwest Wyoming. A process now has to be completed before we know more to the story. That process includes a autopsy of the remains that were found in Gabby's description, a process that includes the actual execution of the search warrant. So there are processes now that have to come into play here, and they have to be executed properly. Any shortcuts or any missteps that are taken as far as these very important processes now that are playing out can lead to legal obstacles down the line that could and have in the past with other cases obstructed justice from being served. So we have to be very respectful here to the process. It's not done at a speed that so many of you want it to be conducted at. You want your lightning fast results, but there's a process now that has to play out, and of course, law enforcement here in Florida, and of course the folks in Northwest Wyoming, working diligently to do this the right way and try to provide the public with information that can get us closer to finding out exactly what happened to Gabby Petito and where Brian Laundrie is located. It is now pouring here in Sarasota County, outside the laundry home here. We were talking about some potential new information coming in. We're awaiting information coming in here, and we were talking about Tillman's Corner, Alabama. We were talking about there's been enough online from people where at least I can address these comments here. Some people commenting regarding Tillman's Corner, Alabama. For those of you unfamiliar with that area of the country, that's the Alabama Gulf Coast, where I have lived for many, many years. A beloved place near and dear to my heart is Mobile and Baldwin counties there in southern Alabama. But we have no word at this time, no confirmed report that has anything to do with the Brian Laundrie disappearance. The proximity is noteworthy here because, of course, Alabama are neighbors to the west as far as if you go up around the Florida Panhandle. But, of course, being so close to and being part of the southeastern United States, the southeast corridor, there are folks, of course, that are curious as to what's happening there in Tillman's Corner. But one more time, let me get this across here. There is no word from police. There's no word at this time to it connected. But let me read just for news purposes here, let me just read what we have from our sister station WKRG in Mobile, Alabama. The Mobile Police Department is investigating a crime scene near the Tillman's Corner Walmart. Crime scene tape is up around a dumpster behind the Verizon store. WKRG News 5 is reaching out to MPD for more information. This is our sister station, WKRG, my old station, where we're in lockstep. So if anything new comes through our way, we'll let you know here on WFLA Now. But right now, that is a story that is separate until it is not. It is in a different state, in a different community, and it could be absolutely. We have had so many other pop-ups that turned out to be nothing. So this is still at this time. Oh, okay, an update just came in here moments ago, literally a moment right there. Mobile police confirming that a body has been found near the Tillman's Corner Walmart. Again, I'm passing this along to you for news reasons because of some of the activity that's going on social media. But at this time, no word at all, and there's nothing that leads us to believe at this time that the two stories are connected. But we're going to monitor that situation as we would regardless. We're going to monitor that situation here and let you know exactly what's going on there in Mobile, Alabama, and whether or not we can definitively say that it has zero connection to the Brian Laundrie case here in Northport, Florida. Pouring here outside the Laundrie home, considerably. There's just a lot less activity here. The search warrant, we've seen police come and go in the last several minutes, but not as much activity now as there once was. Let's listen. Hey folks, JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. I was talking a little bit earlier, we're monitoring the situation in Tillman's Corner, Alabama. Again, zero indication at this time that has anything to do with what's going on, but people have been commenting on social media enough where I felt like it was right to just address those comments, and so we're monitoring that situation right now, but there's no indication at this time that the two cases, what's again a body found in Tillman's Corner, Alabama, and the Brian Laundrie missing persons case. There's no evidence at this time or any word whatsoever from any credible source of information that the two are connected. Now, what I can pass along to you, and this is new, is we now have some documentation here pertaining to the search warrant that's been executed here today and still in the process of being executed as we understand it here in Northport, Florida. Joining us now here, everybody. Wow, the camera has froze.
I look good.
You are invisible. You are invisible.
So you have the right camera. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But no, hold on really quickly though. We're gonna just bring down the camera. Watch this, a magic trick here. Just again, modern technology here, and then I think we can bring you back.
Okay.
Look at that.
So really, let me clarify. Important point. This is not from today's search warrant. We're still waiting for that. This is a search warrant. This is two search warrants actually executed last week. It sort of fills in our timeline from last week. What we now know is that on Tuesday, a search warrant was executed for Petito's van that was driven to Florida by Laundrie. And inside they found an external hard drive. According to the document, it does not indicate, I don't believe, it does not indicate whose external hard drive it is. But on the next day, last Wednesday, police then requested a search warrant citing probable cause relative to a missing endangered person statute. It does not say probable cause was violated. It just says probable cause. And for the first time, really, we're hearing of a potential statute that was allegedly violated. That is the Missing Endangered Persons Statute, FSS 937021, for anyone who wants to look that up and look at the details out there. And in this, so they're basically they find the hard drive in the van. Now they want to search the hard drive. That's what the second search warrant is for. Now, another bit of information here that's very interesting. Two bits of information very interesting. First of all, the document indicates that Gabby's phone had been off for about 15 days as of the 15th. That brings us back to the 1st of September, which is about when Laundrie returned home. So that's very interesting, right?
Wait, so you're saying that the phone was off for 15 days and then was turned back on, or we just know it was down?
All we know is it was off for 15 days as of the 15th, which brings us, like I said, back to the first.
But then so if Gabby's phone is down for 15 days, but the Instagram post was made within that 15-day period.
Was it? That's a great point.
No, it is. So let's bring up the timeline here on WFLA.com. And so that would mean...
That's weird, right?
That would mean, if I have this correct, and please correct me if I am wrong,
this is great.
That the account, I'm sorry, so hold on. That the final text was sent on August 30th.
30th?
August 21st is the last FaceTime.
And the 25th is the last time Miss Schmidt, her mom, Nicole Schmidt, talked to her.
So is that all within that 15 days?
No, because the 15 days are from the 15th of September, which brings us back to the 1st.
Of September.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, and then one more really interesting detail, I think it's interesting at least, the document also includes details about an October 27th text to Nicole Schmidt, which we've heard of, right?
Wait, October 27th?
I'm sorry.
We're a lot of dates, folks. You have to bear with us.
August 27th. August 27th text to Schmidt from her daughter that read, quote, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." Now, according to the document, Schmidt became concerned about that because she said it was odd that her daughter would be calling her grandfather Stan. It's something that she didn't do. She didn't do that. So that's, I believe, that might be the text that she was suspicious of, and now we know why she was suspicious.
But that's different from the final text, because the final text was no service in Yosemite, and that was August 30th. So one more time, let's go back to that August 27th. August
27th. And there's another important detail in here that she told investigators about that. But going back to it again, I'll repeat. August 27th text from Gabby to her mom.
Well, from Gabby's phone.
From Gabby. Well, great point.
I just want to make sure.
To her mom, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." And according to the document, Schmidt told police she thought the message was odd because her daughter did not call her grandfather Stan. So that was, we think, was interesting as well. And then one other point. Let me
sure. Because Walt's got to get ready for our evening newscast here tonight. So final thoughts here.
Hold on, stay with me. I'm going to look through these live as we talk here. Hold on, Brian.
In the meantime here, folks, what I'm going to do, Walt, continue just kind of combing through that. I want to...
Yeah, so real quick, and here's, in that same paragraph of the search warrant affidavit, this is a quote: "The mother was concerned that something was wrong with her daughter because of that August 27th text." This also reflects on the fact that Laundrie wouldn't talk to police, and it talks about their concerns about Petito's mental health during this, and that they felt that she was very much alone and they wanted to get to her. And again, this isn't a warrant affidavit, so you are presenting a judge with reasons why you need to search something. So you're going to add things in, like, not that it's not true, but you're going to reflect on things such as, we're concerned about this woman's health. Judge, we need to get into this device in this case and search it. And again, it's an external hard drive, and they have the serial number here and the product number as well.
Interesting. And it's all going to be, we're going to publish it, of course, what we find out.
I'll probably publish something a little early, but yeah, it'll be part of our 5:30 broadcast. So stay tuned for that. We're waiting for the other affidavit that was executed today at the Laundrie's house.
Interesting stuff. All right. Walt Buto, 8 on your side, senior investigator. Big thanks for taking a few minutes. Really appreciate it. Folks, we'll stay here with you live on WFLA Now. As we continue to monitor some activity here this afternoon. First and foremost, you saw it here at the top of our screen, the Ford Mustang, that same Ford Mustang that was picked up by the Laundrie family at the Carlton Reserve. Brian's car at the Laundrie house on Friday night, of course, when we were live on WFLA Now. That vehicle now, the Ford Mustang convertible, towed away under the guidance of the FBI and under the guidance of local law enforcement here in Northport, Florida. So that's the new information that we can report here at this time as far as credible information. Well, we all saw it happen. So, but this is a very interesting day as far as this being a day of movement here in the Gabby Petito story and in the disappearance of Brian Laundrie. When we have some additional details passed along here, we absolutely will do so. And in the meantime, here I can do my very best to answer some questions here with the hashtag HAB. And here, just combing through some of the comments here and they're flying in really quickly, so honestly, just bear with me here for a moment. A lot of these questions we've covered in the past, so I'm trying to see if we can carry this conversation here forward. And again, WFLA.com is some of the information that I'm seeing here, people asking about is a lot of stuff is extremely easily accessible and things that we've said 500 or so times. Again, folks, have to use, there's some questions that are coming in. You can use hashtag HAB to have your comment here animated on screen. If you don't use that, then we can't bring your comment up here, so I'll look for those comments and those questions. I am actually looking for them right now here. Wow, YouTube is...
what was that?
YouTube is a lot of commenters here. I'm going to step away from the microphone here just for one moment as we process some new information coming in.
2 wooden cardboard document boxes and a skeleton case just came out. We think maybe they're holding off on taking more stuff out because of the rain.
Hey folks, JB back here with you live on WFLA Now. The update that we are live for is the Ford Mustang, silver Ford Mustang convertible, towed away from the laundry home here. And let's take some comments and some questions here. Brittany Ramirez has to JB, did they tow away the car? So did the cops tow away the car? It was towed away under the guidance of the FBI and law enforcement. So yes, that's what we, as we understand it. The vehicle is now believed to be in police custody. And another piece, perhaps, of the puzzle here. Again, this is the same Ford Mustang that was picked up by the Laundry family at the Carlton Reserve. Ryan's car was at the Laundry household on Friday night when we were live, when the media circus was there, when the public circus, if you will, was there, as far as people with the signs and the megaphones chanting outside of the Laundry household. So the vehicle was returned there, and then that we noted it on the stream on Friday night. And now, of course, being towed away here, Northport Police added that it's possible. It's a curious thing to add, because anything's possible really at this point. So much. The more unknown that there is, the more that you can fit into the realm of possible. And so Northport Police said that it is possible that Ryan could have harmed himself, but we just don't know here at this time. That is an interesting clue as far as the vehicle itself. And if we hear any updated information, we'll pass it along here to you. Yeah, a lot of people talking about the Stan text message referring to Gabby's grandfather. That's a little bit bizarre. Chris and Sam Powell, #JB. So do we know if police have her phone? The phone's whereabouts are still unknown at this time. Gabby's phone, another key piece of evidence, and whether or not they found the phone with Gabby there in Northwest Wyoming, we don't know. We know that the phone was powered down for a 15-day period here in September, and that, of course, was just passed along by 800-side senior investigator Walt Buteau here moments ago. So the phone is a key piece of information. I wonder if, I would imagine that it's unlikely that the phone was on Gabby at the time of her death, but really it's entirely possible, because we don't know how Gabby died. Everyone wants to immediately just think that this is a homicide investigation. It is not a homicide investigation at this time. It is the discovery of a body matching Gabby Petito's description in Northwest Wyoming. We don't know if she. There are all different types of scenarios there that are plausible as far as what led to her death, and whether her phone is on her is of course connected to the manner in which she died. So we don't know at this time where her phone is, and we don't know if it was with her in Northwest Wyoming, or if it's elsewhere here in the country, or if it has been destroyed. We really don't know. But the phone off is something that we learned here, and we're getting more details on, and that's going to be on WFLA.com and the WFLA app. Let's see here. Let's take some more questions and comments. Ella Burke, #KJB. Did they find anything today that was helpful in bringing justice for Gabby? We don't know yet, but clearly an expansive search warrant executed here, and law enforcement doing their due diligence as far as executing that search warrant here, and I'm sure obtaining anything and everything that they think can connect them to answers here on this story. So we don't know, but this is a development. And there have been so many comments and questions asking when there were going to be developments, something that we could show you, tell you about, and something tangible here that gets us closer to finding answers. And today was a day where we're getting closer to finding answers, because we actually have developments here in this story with the execution of the search warrant. So Ella, I hope so. I really hope so, and I hope that we're getting closer to finding finding out what happened to Gabby Petito. I'm going to throw out this one other comment here from Jessica Nicole here. This is to get the record straight. She says, sorry if this was addressed, the parents still in police custody. They were never in police custody. I'm going to repeat this 3 times. The parents were never in police custody. The parents were never in police custody. And again, because a lot of commenters have said this, the parents were never in police custody, as I understand it. They were escorted away from the home, and people wondered what that was. They were escorted away from the home as the search warrant was beginning to be executed here, and then they were allowed back into the home. So were they ever in the custody of police? No. Just because you're standing next to officers on the street, or just because you leave with officers in a police vehicle, if a cop gives you a ride home, are you in police custody? No. So we have to keep things rooted in reality, as I've been saying here. The parents were never in police custody, though the search warrant was executed at their home, and they were escorted from the interior of the home for a short while earlier on today, as we told you about in our previous stream. All right, folks, we're live here. We're going to stay live in some places and live streams in others. The reason for doing that, of course, is to of course, make sure that we are live with the updates that we feel are most relevant for you to know about. The update was a short time ago that the Ford Mustang convertible is in police custody, as we understand it, being towed away there from the laundry home in Northport in the video that we showed you, and now on WFLA.com. We're going to end our live stream in some places, stay live in some others here again, to stay relevant here and stay focused on the updates at hand. We're kind of, what we do and what we've been seeing here over the course of the day is moments in time where you need to be told information and be given updates. And then there are lulls between those developments where we can take a bit of a break and talk about and get on work the phones and find out exactly what's going on here in Northport and what's going on elsewhere in the country pertaining to Gabby Petito and pertaining to the disappearance of Brian Laundrie. Thanks for all the commenters here joining us. As a reminder, all of it, everything that we know right now on WFLA.com, the WFLA app. For those of you joining us on Facebook Live, you can click on the link in the description on this video. It'll take you over to all of our articles. And on WFLA.com, we have an article hub for everything pertaining to Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. If you're joining us on another television station website, you're wondering, hey, that's odd. Why am I seeing on KXAN, or why am I seeing on WKRN? Why am I seeing WFLA's coverage? It's because we're part of a network. It's because we're part of News Nation and Nexstar Nation. And of course, we share out content to our sister stations here from WFLA. So you can click on the link. It might take you over to your respective television market's website, where you can read more here on the story, or it'll take you over to WFLA.com, where we continue to have the latest in the article hub. I'm going to give my voice a bit of a break here, and we'll be back here live with updates as they become available from across the country here on the latest on Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie.